Hello everyone, my name is Betsy Weibel. This year will be my third year that I'll have the privilege of teaching Algebra 1 at the ARC Co-op in Rockwall. I want to take just a few minutes and show to all of you parents and kids and anyone else who might be interested this very helpful website on gaining competency in various different areas of mathematics, and clear up through algebra, calculus, differential equations, biology. It's a very wonderful resource, particularly for homeschoolers. First, you see that I'm right here on our homepage for registration information, and I want to go ahead and go right on here on the right-hand side. I'm going to click on Class Catalog because I know some of you parents and kids haven't had an opportunity to actually look at the course descriptions for all of your classes. And I'm going to go ahead and type in the course description here for Algebra 1, which is a secondary math class, secondary level class. I'll teach anyone who's ready for it from probably about age 11 on up to 99. I had the opportunity and the distinct privilege of helping my very good friend refresh her algebra skills, and she's 51 years old. And this is the description that I have for my Algebra 1 class. Students will expand on algebraic concepts introduced in pre-algebra by mastering linear equations, very basic equations of a line, solving inequalities and systems of equations, working with polynomials, and investigating quadratic equations and functions. Mastery of this class is essential for success in higher levels of math. And to me, as is true for, I believe, homeschoolers across the board, mastery is not necessarily meaning that you're getting A's on your tests consistently across the board. You can get A's on your tests and not really grasp the material, particularly if you're good at regurgitating things. And I'm equally convinced that you can be averaging C's in a class and have a pretty good mastery of the material. You just happen to be a person who doesn't test well. But what's really important is that by the time you finish with Algebra 1, you have mastered the material in Algebra 1, because all math classes are very sequential. It's very much based on the biblical principles of line upon line, precept upon precept. You lay your foundation with addition, subtraction. You move on up to learning your multiplication facts. You understand multiplication, then you can do division, and you begin to work with fractions. And it's not a case of I can learn addition and subtraction, and then I don't have to worry about it anymore. I can go ahead and do multiplication, and then I'm finished with it. And I'm finished with fractions, and I'm finished with pre-algebra. And now I can just pick up Algebra 1 as a class all by itself, and I don't have to remember all of the former things that we've done. But just like, again, a biblical reference that we have the parable that Jesus told us of the wise man who built his house on the rock, the foolish man who built his house on the sand. Of course, the foolish man who built his house on the sand his home was not built on a firm foundation, and it was not able to stand. When we give our kids the benefit of a firm foundation in elementary school mathematics, then as they progress on up through junior high school and through high school math, they have a solid foundation on which to build these classes of ever-increasing difficulty. And that's why the most important key here of my description is that the statement is that you really have to grasp this class, kids, if you're going to be able to go on and be successful taking Algebra 2 or pre-calculus, or if you're going into engineering, calculus and differential equations and all of these other higher level math classes that are not something that I enjoy, but are very foundational to many different areas of study and work. So anyway, let's go ahead and see what my prerequisites are. Everyone is required to take an assessment test prior to getting into my class. The reason for this is not to give you another $25 charge. It's not to make sure that our kids are doing math in the summer. It's certainly not to give me more work during the summer. The purpose of this assessment is right here. Mrs. Weibel will use this assessment test to identify areas that need reinforcement and will provide guidance recording work to be completed during the summer. Students may register concurrently for Algebra 1 and the assessment test. While multiple attempts are permitted for the test, a passing grade must be achieved before the school year begins. And then additional teaching time says reliable internet access, either at home or through a local library, is mandatory for this course. The class deposit fee includes unlimited access to teaching videos that Mrs. Weibel uploads to YouTube. Several of these videos will be assigned each week. And you see that we do have that $60 deposit up there. For what you're getting, it's a very, very reasonable price. And I apologize for the noise of my dishwasher in the background. So what I wanted to go on from here is I want to go over to this Khan Academy. By this point, the majority of you have had your child or children complete the assessment test that I sent home with you, and I know that the kids, students, young people, and the parents and everybody involved were not very excited to be taking this class, but it's necessary for me to have that because it lets me identify if they're very solid in their 4 basic fundamental operations where we have multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. Kids have to be very comfortable with fractions as well, multiplying, dividing them, reducing fractions to the lowest terms. Please don't make that noise, children. And it's possible, it's totally possible to have gone through pre-algebra, especially if you happen to use a calculator. You can get the whole way through pre-algebra and do very nicely in pre-algebra without having a good, solid grasp of multiplication and working with fractions. But you need to go back and grasp those concepts. Your kids have to have that to be able to understand how all of algebra works. So that assessment test that I gave you was actually a placement test to see where in 5th or 6th grade a particular student would be placed based on their complete understanding of fractions and multiplication and division primarily. And you think, my goodness, 5th and 6th grade? Well, fractions are just the point in math that lots of people get hung up on fractions. It just happens that we teach it in 5th grade. So it doesn't, if your child didn't do as well as you thought they would do in their assessment test, it doesn't mean anything more than that they need to spend some time working on fractions, working on multiplication. This is the website that I sent to you a couple of days ago. And I said I really, really want to recommend Khan Academy, suggest very strongly that you use this as the tool that your student can use to go back and review material, practice material. It actually has lots of game metrics, I believe is the word, game metrics wrapped up inside of it. I've actually gotten my 3 children registered on that this week, and they're sitting there competing against each other. How many badges do you have? How many energy points do you have? I've got 1 badge more than you do. So it gives the type of positive reinforcement that the kids enjoy. And it's excellent sound teaching, sound review. I just want to go ahead and step you through a few of these, through a little bit of this website. I've been familiar with Sal Khan's teaching, but it had probably been a year since I had looked at any of his video. Let me move this down just a little bit here. This is a picture of Sal. down here in the bottom right hand corner. This dude here, of course, is Bill Gates of Microsoft. And in the year that it's been since I looked at Sal's videos on YouTube, this whole process has just blossomed, it's grown, it's exploded. This entire website, everything that's on here, all of the resources is completely free. There's, they get all sorts of sponsors from it. Plus, it has attracted the attention of Bill Gates and his foundation and his overwhelming support, because they see this almost as a paradigm shift in education, where if you have access to a computer, you can learn many different things. Anyway, let me go ahead and show you what I want to show you on this. Right up here, it says Betsy Weibel. I've registered myself here. You do have to log in with a Gmail account. I'm sorry, I keep saying Gmail. You can either log in through Google or log in through Facebook. I don't have Facebook, so I went in through Google. It's very basic information we have. We have a choice of watching or practicing, but you can prowl about this website and see what there is. So let's just look at watch here and see what pops up. What you see is you see playlists. There are videos on math, science, humanities, test preparations. There are also, you can go through and look and see where Khan Academy's been on the on the PBS NewsHour, on CNN. He's done talks at MIT, at computer conventions, at ABC. It's just fascinating. But let's just go ahead and look here. Let's jump to this playlist on math. And you see that we have arithmetic, developmental math 1, developmental math 2, pre-algebra, algebra, geometry, differential equations, clear down to linear equations. The majority of the videos that your kids will want to do will be either in arithmetic or developmental math 1. So what you could do is you could just say, okay, I think I want to look at these developmental math videos. So you would click on developmental math, and then this gives you all of the plethora of videos that are available under just developmental math, which is actually clear up through pre-algebra. Pretty much you can say, okay, I think I want to learn something about converting yards to inches. You click on the video. You have a video that pops up. This one right down here is just 6 minutes.
How many inches are in 4.5 yards?
He goes through and teaches this.
4.5 yards. Now, whenever we're dealing with fractions and we're going to multiply and divide by fractions, it really complicates the issue to have a mixed number. So right from the get-go, I want to turn this into an improper fraction. Let me do it over here in the top right. 4.5 written as an improper fraction is equal to 1. We're still going to have 2 as a denominator. So 2 times 4 is 8. So 8 halves is the same thing as 4. Right? Let me rewrite this. This 4, just as a bit of a review, 4 is the same thing as 8 over 2. That's the same thing as 4. And then you have that plus 1/2. That is going to give you 9 halves. The quick way to do it, 2 times 4 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So 4.5 is the same thing as 9 halves. So 4.5 yards is the same thing as, let me write over here, 9 over 2. 9 over 2 yards.
Now, I'm not going to play any more of this video. This just gives you a flavor for what his teaching is like. You see that right here we have 4.5 yards, but before you can do a unit conversion, you have to know how to take that mixed number and convert it to an improper fraction. He took the time to explain how it's really a whole number and a fraction. The whole number can be written as 8 halves. You end up with 9 halves. And then he showed you the same shortcut way that all of us have learned how to do this. 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 becomes 9 over 2. So his teaching is excellent. Now let me go back. I'm not going to look at videos anymore. This is what I'm going to recommend that your children do. I'm going to recommend that they click on practice. and they have a very cool map here. Let me take this clear back up to the beginning here. This is a map of all of the different lessons that are available to the kids. There's addition 1, 2, 3, 4, multiplication, subtraction, division, and you see how they all link together. You should do addition 3 before you do addition 4. All of these different colors, there's blue, there's green, there's white or gray. When you register your child on this website, the program, the website tracks your child's progress, gives them excellent, totally objective feedback, will coach them through the steps that when they get stuck, they can look for a video, they can ask for a hint. Let me show you. I'm going to click on my name. Okay, and this is going to give you a progress report on the playing around that I've done just as I'm messing around with this video, with this website, getting more excited about it all the time. Here, this tells you that I've completed 17 out of 2,400 videos. I am proficient in 10 out of 129 exercises. And this right here, this is something that's very good because I'm sure none of your kids do this, but I say, oh, I need you to go study and study hard. And they'll come down and say, oh, I've been studying 5 hours. Well, you know, they have the marks on their face from where they've fallen asleep on their book. Well, look at this right here. On July 9th, I look at that, and this tells me I watched 1 hour and 53 minutes worth of videos that night. I think that's when I was at a hotel working on this. I worked on exercises for 9 minutes, and I also made some accomplishments. So you can go on and track your child's work, see how they're doing. This exercise progress right here, as it's clicking this up, these are all of the various different topics at addition 1. The green ones mean that I'm proficient at it. This little thing that pops up says that I have a streak of 10 problems correctly, and that means that I've mastered the program. This blue right here, the status says that I've started it. I've tried 11 problems, but my current streak is only 1 problem long. What this means is in order to be proficient, you know, to get your little green color here, you have to go through their practice exercise section and get 10 problems correct in a row. As they have determined, you know, they've set the metrics to be that if somebody can get 10 problems in a row correct in converting mixed numbers to improper fractions, then they've mastered the material and they're safe to move on. Now, what happens if you just don't know what to do? Well, actually, let me back up. See this button over here? It says Coach. Now, this is where it's particularly helpful to me as your student's Algebra 1 teacher. See this right here? Class statistics. I have 4 students. How can I have 4 students? Well, Betsy Weibel, I'm one of them, my daughter, and my 2 sons. And what this shows is the progress that we've all made. So I can look here and I can see, okay, my kids have been studying. I quit doing addition, 4-digit addition, because I didn't want to mess with it. So I've started it, but I've not gained mastery in it. My daughter's gained mastery in these subjects. My son has gained mastery in these subjects as he's reviewing. These here haven't been started. So this allows me as the coach to look and see what progress my kids are making. Okay, well, big deal. You know that they started it, or you know that I know that they mastered it. Well, it's even more than that. Let's click on Royal Ranger 2 here and see what happens. Okay, as it's thinking, it's pulling up this particular student's progress. And you see, oh, okay, they've done all of this. They have a streak of 21. They did 21 problems here, all perfectly, since their streak was 21 and they only tried 21. On this one right here, they were in a hurry here. They tried 38 problems before they were able to get 10 in a row correct. Now let's move down a little bit more on this screen. See, these are the badges that they earn. They earn meteorite badges, moon badges, for things that they accomplish. They get a perseverance badge, kept right at it until they figured it out. These are speed-related badges. These are ones for just sticking with it. So it gives the kids immediate positive feedback. It lets you as a parent track the progress of your child. It lets me as a teacher look and say, okay, they're working hard and they're doing well and they have succeeded. So let's go ahead and just look at what a practice section would be. And let me pick out one. So these blue ones mean that I've gotten my badge. I've mastered them. Let's move down a little bit more here. And these function just like any MapQuest map does. You can move with the arrows left and right, up and down. Or you can just grab the page and move it around. I'm looking for something about, oh, what do I want to look at? How about dividing decimals? So you click on an activity on that star map, and here's your first problem. This is called your dashboard. I'm sorry, the other thing is the dashboard. This is the practice. Up here, this says streak. So we want to figure out what this answer is. Now, something that some of your kids will like, this says show scratchpad. You can click on this pencil here. I don't do this very well. I don't draw very well with a cursor, but you can actually do your work there. Okay, your kids know that when you're dividing by decimals, you have to move the decimal place 2 places to the right here, because that's how many spaces you move the decimal here with the divisor. 34 goes into 166. My goodness, I don't do arithmetic particularly enjoyably. 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1. Okay, so I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to subtract this incorrectly, 32, and I'm going to put an incorrect answer here. Check the answer. Sad smiley face. Do I need help? I can watch a video on how to divide decimals, or I can get a hint. I'd like a hint. Here it says, be careful, if you get a warning, it's going to break your streak, and I want to break my streak. I want to learn. First, you shift the decimal place point 2 places to the right, which is what I did. That wasn't my problem. What's my next hint? 34 goes into 166 4 times. I did that right, and I still don't know what I did wrong. Next hint. 4 times 34 is 136. I did that correct as well. Okay, I still don't see where my problem is. Next hint. 166 minus 136 is equal to 30. Ah, right there, 32. Obviously, this is horrible chicken scratching for me. I would be working this problem on paper and then adding the answer in. Let me go back and do a really quick, easy addition problem to show you how your kids will be just absolutely drawn into this and actually enjoy doing their math work. I meant to get multiplication 1 and I grabbed the wrong thing. Okay. Or actually, I'll just pick this very first one, addition, the very most basic problem that's here. Okay, 6 plus 6 is 12. See, next question. 8 plus 8 is 16. 7 plus 9 is 16. 4 plus 7 is 11. 4 plus 8 is 12. I should be getting a badge anytime. There. See this badge? Picking up steam. Quickly and correctly answer 5 exercise problems in a row. Time limit depends on how hard the exercise is. Okay? And kids love things like that. Right here, this says my streak. Since I'd already done it, I have a streak of 16 here. So that means I'm proficient in it. Now let's see what happens if I get a wrong answer. 5 plus 5 is equal to, everybody knows it's 10. Oops, I got in a hurry and I said 1. Uh-oh, better check the answer. Let's see what happens. Okay, the answer's wrong. I now have 10, and that's correct. And you see, my streak has gone away because I had an incorrect answer. Put 12 in as the correct answer, and my streak starts all over again. So your streak is ended when you make an error with whatever particular topic is on. What is wonderful about this is there's no limit to the number of problems. These are automatically generated. They're not the same. You could do 1,000 addition problems if you wanted to. Every single one of them will step you through it by saying, I'd like a hint, I'd like a hint, I'd like a hint, or you could watch a video. It's an excellent tool to help your children achieve mastery. And I realize that this has been a very long talk without even being able to see a face, just sort of trying to watch me scroll through a website. This is fantastic. It will help your kids to feel better about math, and not just feel good because they feel good, but feel good as they are developing excellent math skills, as they are achieving mastery in the topics that are so very important. This was the best way that I could think of to try and talk with each one of you about how you can incorporate this for the last 2 months of summer before we start co-op in the fall, because your kids, every single one of them, has the capability, if they're willing to work, to come into algebra and do really well. Because unfortunately, with a co-op class, I can't take the time to teach multiplication and fractions and things. So we have these prerequisites. They can make use of this Khan Academy to brush up on their skills, strengthen them, or even maybe go back and relearn things or learn things for the first time. My 2 older children are going to be taking Algebra 2 in the fall. Today, neither of them are ready for Algebra 2, but they will be ready for Algebra 2. They'll be well prepared with the combination of using this Khan Academy where they teach themselves, and by having me available to monitor their progress and help them when they get stuck. So I'll look forward to talking with each of you. Have a great rest of the summer, and I'll see you in the fall.